So let's get started. I'm really excited about today's class, Intro to Coaching, because I think coaching is something that a lot of people have not really been exposed to. It's something that's becoming more and more popular, and so I'm glad that you decided to take the time out of your schedule today to learn a bit more about what coaching is. We will go through a little bit about me and Entropia and the purpose of this call again. Do you need a coach? What is coaching? How can coaching benefit you? How do you pick a coach? And after you pick a coach, how does the process work? And then a question that I'm sure many of you have is, how do you pay for this? How much does coaching cost? So before we get started, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am a trained scientist. I'm a chemist by training. I worked in industry for several years on the technical side, and then I moved into the management side. It was then that I decided that I wanted to try something different. Even though I liked the science, I liked the technical side, I also realized that I liked the people side as well. And so I started to move into more roles that were business and management, still in the sciences, but on the people side. After a couple of years of doing that, I had the entrepreneurial itch, as they call it. And I decided that I wanted to leave industry, and I started my own company. I started Entropia initially as a consulting firm where I focused mostly on strategic projects, strategic planning, and I did some interim director-type roles. But as I started doing that, I was also helping people achieve their goals, not just the projects, but more so personal aspects. And the more that I did that, the more that I realized that this was a field of coaching. And so last year in 2012, I decided to add coaching as one of the services that Entropia would offer. Now, the question of what is coaching? Coaching is simply helping people set goals and achieve results within a specific time frame. It's directed discussions, guided activities, anything that will help an individual, and in some cases an organization, achieve your results that will help you become more effective and more maximize your personal potential. I'm sure that many of you have seen coaches, a variety of coaches throughout your life. You've seen executive coaches, there have been life coaches, there have been business coaches, career coaches. There are all types of coaches available out there these days. But what's the right type of coach for you? This specific call on coaching isn't directed to any one specific coaching type, but it's more so about the field of coaching. Now, in some areas, coaching is often interchanged with mentoring. And so some people may ask, well, what's the difference between coaching and mentoring? Isn't it really the same thing? Well, I would have to say, from my opinion and perspective, there are several similarities between coaching and mentoring. But some of the key differences between mentoring and mentoring is really giving back, or some people want to say paying it forward. So when you think about mentoring, you think about people who have served as mentors in your life. They can either be active mentors, or in some cases they can be passive mentors. But they're people or individuals who have achieved either a place in life or achieved a position or achieved a certain statue that you want to achieve, and you kind of pattern yourself after them. They're people who you feel as though you can learn from. What did they do to get to where they got? Those are mentoring type of relationships. Many times the mentoring relationships are informal. And there are some cases where you have formal mentoring relationships. With coaching, however, coaching is very active because remember, you're setting a goal and you're trying to achieve a specific result within a specific time frame. And so when you think about mentoring versus coaching, your mentoring relationship, you may or may not be able to have monthly scheduled meetings or weekly scheduled meetings with your mentor. Because your mentor, quite honestly, has another job. That's not his or her primary focus, to be able to take your hand and hold you and help you achieve that specific goal. They give you advice, and they tell you what you can do, but they're not necessarily that person that will, excuse me, they're not necessarily that person that's going to be able to give you that dedicated one-on-one attention. And that's what your coach does. Do you need a coach? A lot of people think of coaching in the work terms as a sense of something that you're deficient in. When in actuality, coaching is now used to enhance and maximize on your strengths. Because think about it. Look at athletes. Look at singers. Look at all of these people who have coaches. They have absolutely phenomenal raw talent, but they have people that help them make them better on a specific skill set. You think about Tiger Woods, one of the greatest golfers of all time. He even has coaches. Serena Williams, she has coaches. Or any of the singers, opera singers, they all have coaches. So why not apply this to your particular situation in your work environment? You can use a coach to help you improve on any area of your personal or professional life. But it really starts with you asking yourself the question and being honest. Are you ready for that? Because one of the things that happens with coaching is the coach will hold you accountable. But the coach is also someone who is able to give you an objective opinion. It's not your friend. It's not someone who's going to really just tell you what they think you want to hear. The coach is there to help you see the areas where you have shortfalls, even in your strengths, and help you build upon those and get better. How can coaching benefit you? That's the question that a lot of people say, well, I can do this on my own. Why do I need a coach? I can easily go to the website, or I can read a self-help book. That's true. For some people, it really is the case where you can go to a website or you can go to books and read about various coaching techniques and apply it to yourself. But quite honestly, most of us aren't able to hold ourselves accountable to do that. That's why we're employing the coach. That's why we engage or look for coaching to help us. It's to hold us accountable. And basically, the coach can hold up a mirror to us and see what it is that we can't see ourselves. That's one of the key differences in a coach versus the self-help. The coach is the person that can give you that feedback in real time at you. That's another key question that people tend to ask. Sometimes all you need is a sounding board, and the coach can benefit you by helping you improve the clarity around what it is that you want to do. When you think about all of these executives and executive coaching, that's really all they're doing with their coaches. They're sitting down, they have ideas, and they use their coach as a sounding board, someone to help them pull their ideas together and package them in a way that will help their team or their company do better. The same can be true for an individual. I know there are a lot of us out there, we have these ideas, we have these things that we want to do. We just don't know how to get started. We just don't know how to package our ideas or how to present ourselves to get what it is that we want. And that's what coaching can do for you. Coaching helps to enhance that confidence or even your leadership presence because you start to work on activities, whether it be work-related or whether it be personal. When you work with your coach, you're able to be yourself. And that, in turn, helps to build your confidence and build that leadership presence, if you will. There are times where you may need some inter, meaning working with other people, or intra, working with yourself, effectiveness. And that's where your communication skills come into play. How are you receiving feedback? How are you giving feedback? How are you listening? How are you managing your time? How are you managing your stress? In today's environment, workplace, family, society, there's a lot of stress involved. And how do you manage to prioritize what it is that you need to do with what it is that you have to do? What about enhanced thinking and decision-making skills? These are all ways in which your coach can benefit you or a coaching program can benefit you. There was a survey done a couple of years back about the effectiveness of coaching and what people thought coaching benefited them the most by. And about 68% that participated said that coaching helped them have a higher self-awareness. And I think that's true because a lot of times we go on working day in and day out, and we never really take the time to see how it is that we're impacting other people or how other people are impacting us. But if you come to a point where you see that, hey, something's not right, I know I need to be doing something better. Let me see if I can get someone to help me. And that's where coaching can come into play and really help you to see those areas of self-awareness. The coaching, 61% said that coaching helped them have a more balanced life. When you start talking about work or even, again, in personal life, I'm really big on goal setting. Coaching helps you to set smart goals. It helps you to become more accountable with those goals that you're setting as well. The more you work with your coach, the more people found that they had lower stress levels. And there could be a variety of reasons for that. But I think primarily it happens because you're learning to see what's important and how to prioritize what matters most and how to deal with that. How do you deal with difficult people? How do you deal with difficult employees? How do you deal with difficult managers? How are you managing down and how are you managing up? All of these are things that a coach can help you. And when I say manage, it's not always about managing at the workplace. Maybe you need to manage things at home. Maybe you are involved in extracurricular activities or civic organizations, and you really need to learn how to better manage and prioritize. These are all ways in which coaching can help and benefit you. And again, coaching really helps build your self-confidence. It makes good better and the better best. I'm sure you've all heard of that saying. Those are individual reasons how coaching can benefit you. And when you think about how you become more effective and how you become more efficient, if you think about it in your workplace, the better you are, the better your performance reviews, the better your merit raises or bonuses or promotions. If you think about it in your personal life, the more you take charge or have a handle on these things, the happier and more harmonious your family life can be. Coach. We've gone through all of these things on how coaching can benefit you, but let's just go back for a second and think, well, there are a variety of coaches out there. What's the best method for actually choosing a coach? Well, the first thing you have to do is really understand and assess your readiness for coaching. Are you really ready for that change? A lot of people say that they want to change or that they want coaching, but they go into these coaching engagements already knowing the answer. They go into these coaching engagements knowing what they want to do and telling the coach what it is that they have to do, and not being open or receptive to learning anything different or learning a new way of doing these things. So that's the first thing that you really have to do is really assess if you are ready for coaching. Are you ready to make that change? Are you open to learning something about you? Are you ready to receive that there may be some things about you that you've never really accepted before? People have always seen it, but you never accepted it. Once you come to the point that you are open and ready to a different way of doing things, regardless of how long you've been in a situation, you can receive coaching. Then is the time that's probably best for you to look at a coach. The next thing you do is educate yourself about coaching. As I said, this is a short call here. It's just something to introduce you to coaching, to get you to start thinking about what coaching is, and is coaching an appropriate tool for you in your professional development. Once you educate yourself about coaching, learn about what coaching is, learning about the different types of coaching. Do you need a life coach? Do you need a business coach? Do you need an executive coach? Do you need a skills coach? Do you need a professional development coach? Are you trying to start a small business? Are you trying to be an entrepreneur? Do you need a coach that specializes in that? All of those are things that you need to really look at when you start to choose your coach. You also have your personal preferences of things that you would like to see in a coach. Do you need someone who is specific to your industry, or are you open to someone who has the skill set or the skills that you're looking for that may have expertise in another industry but have the skill set that you're looking for? Then you want to get some referrals from friends or colleagues. You never know who has used the coach before until you start talking or asking about it. It used to be the case that coaching was reserved only for executives, but now more and more individuals are using private coaches. And so refer people, ask people, have you ever used a coach? And get their feedback on their experience about the coach. You can go on the web and, do a couple of Google searches, if you will, and find some coaches. But the one thing about finding coaches on the web and just doing a random Google search is you never know what you're going to get. So that's why it's important that you also speak to your coach or talk to your coach. After you, I'd say get about 2 to 3 or 4 coaches that you have seen either from friends, colleagues, or referrals, or even on the website, and contact the coach. Do a little background research on his or her experiences. Do they have any evidence of knowledge in the area in which you're seeking coaches? Try to get some testimonials. You can ask them if it's okay if you speak to any of their past clients. But the one thing that you want to look for in all of this as you start communicating with the particular coach is it a fit? Because this is a person that you're going to have this one-on-one interaction with, and you want to make sure that you feel comfortable with the coach. There are going to be times where you're going to have to share confidential information, confidential feelings. You're going to really have to open up to this coach. And is this someone who you can do that with? Do you like this particular coach's style? Is the coach too direct for you? All of these are questions that you will need to answer to yourself as you are looking for your coach. After you find this coach, the other thing is, well, how does it work? So I found a coach. I found someone who I think fits me well, will be compatible. What's next? What can I expect? Well, the majority of coaching works like this. There's an initial meeting to determine, what's the current situation? What is it that you're looking to achieve? So you and the coach will go back and forth just on a regular discussion, a casual discussion. And this discussion also continues to help you determine if there's a fit for you and this coach. Can this coach help you achieve what it is that you want to do? After that initial meeting and you determine that, yes, this will work, this is what I want to work on, then you and the coach go about setting your desired goals. You set your goals, then you create an action plan to achieve those goals. And you set timings with that. Again, the key thing about coaching is you want to achieve results. It's not as informal, it's not as relaxed as your mentoring that can go on for, a couple of months or so on end, and you just gradually look at your progress. Once you decide that you want to coach, you have made the decision that you want to see progress and you want to see results in a specific time. So you are creating an action plan to achieve those goals. You set timings to it. Your coach will then have activities to work with you on, and they will meet with you to ensure that you are accountable to those actions. Coaching can occur via the phone, it can occur in person, or it can even occur over the web, internet, Skype. It doesn't always have to be face-to-face interaction. And that's something else that you would have to consider when you're choosing your coach. Do you need someone that's face-to-face? Do you need someone that can meet with you on a weekly basis or a monthly basis? Do you need someone that's just going to check in on you every now and again? All those are things that you'll start to talk about with your coach once you have chosen the coach in the process. So don't worry about it too much now on how that part works, because that's going to be really between you and the coach and how they set it up. And now the big question. What most people want to know about coaching is, how much does it cost? And can I afford this? And that's a really good question, because it is a commitment. It is an investment. And it's not cheap for the better services. But there are services out there that are affordable. So I don't want you to think that, oh, I can't do this right now. It's not in my budget. I can't afford it. There are ways to work, and coaches will work with all of their clients to meet them where they are. But just in terms of how much is it going to cost, think of it this way. It's professional development. It's an investment. So if you are doing private coaching as a personal investment, it is tax deductible. So you can factor that in when you start thinking about your costs, that you will get a break as a professional development if it's a personal investment. But you can also think about paying for your coaching as a part of your development plans at work. So when you set your goals for the year, how are you going to reach your goals? How are you looking to achieve each of these goals? And you talk to your management. Coaching is a tool that can be used. Coaching isn't just used for people that are on for performance development plans. You can also use coaching as a form for enhancing skills development plans. But specifically, the cost is going to be determined by several factors. How much upfront work will the coach have to do? How frequent would you like to meet? And how long are the meetings? Do you want to meet once a week for 30 minutes? Or do you want to meet every other week for an hour? Will the coach have to travel to you? Is it going to be face-to-face? Is it going to be via the phone? Is it one-to-one? Or there are cases where there are small group programs that make coaching much more affordable. Where a couple of individuals have gotten together, you have similar interests, and though it's not as economical for you to do this one-on-one, as a small group, you're able to do a coaching program. So the coach works with that small group to hold the group accountable, but then you also have your group members holding each other accountable for achieving your goals as well. But when you start thinking about your good coaches or your experienced coaches, the rates can range anywhere from hourly rates, that is, anywhere from $50 to $550 an hour. Or you can have coaching programs that range from $500 to over $10,000 a month. Now, I know some of you are saying $10,000 a month. You've got to be kidding me. No, not really. But usually when you're on that end of the spectrum and higher, you're dealing with people who don't have a lot of time to spend, and they are really interested in results. So when you think about your executives, $10,000 a month to spend with someone who's going to help them be better and perform more efficient, that's a small drop in the bucket when you think about the return that they're going to get on that small investment. The same can be true for you as an individual. Even if you're spending $500 a month or $300, $400, $600 a month on your coaching, look at it long term at the investment that you're going to make. Because think about it. Some of us will spend that type of money in a week on a handbag, a purse, a pair of shoes, an outfit, even just on weekend entertainment or dining. So if you're able to spend that amount on those types of things, when you start thinking about your personal enhancement, your personal effectiveness, and how you want to improve, then you can justify this as being a small investment. So hopefully you found this short little 30-minute session informational, and that you've learned something new about coaching that will help you understand how it can benefit you and how coaching can be used and is used as a professional development tool. If you would like to follow up, please feel free to do so by contacting me at mqualls@entropiaconsulting.com. Again, you can reach me via Twitter at DRQUALLS, or you can give me a call, 202-455-0426. I also invite you to visit my website, where I also have information. I have an FAQ section on coaching there where you can go and reference and learn a little bit more. I have a Facebook page, Entropia Consulting, where I post information, enhancement or enrichment information that will help you along the way. Or, again, if you just want to give me a call and interview me as a potential coach, I would appreciate it. But, again, the purpose of this call was to provide a foundation and some educational information about coaching, what coaching is, and how it can benefit you. Again, thank you for calling. Thank you for joining in. And I look forward to hearing from some of you.